Hey everybody, this is Dave from the Street Food Institute. Today's cooking installment, we are going to do some summer rolls. We're going to do a pork and shrimp summer roll with a Vietnamese dipping sauce. These summer rolls are popular in both Thailand and Vietnam. The Vietnamese version uses more of a fish sauce-based sauce. A lot of times if you go to a Thai restaurant, you'll get a peanut sauce. I like the Vietnamese version better myself. It's a little lighter, it's more summery. So part of the beauty of the Vietnamese spring roll is a combination of raw and cooked ingredients. It's like the essence of Southeast Asian cooking in that it has this beautiful, super flavorful meat, but then at the same time, it has this sort of raw, crunchy, spicy, super vibrant flavors. We're gonna start off with ground pork and shrimp. We are going to just quickly saute those. We're gonna do a little combination of regular oil and sesame oil. And then we're gonna add some ginger in there. So you want the ginger to flavor the meats that we're putting in there. Just gonna kind of get that going so it starts to infuse it. As soon as it starts to brown up a little bit, we're gonna add all of our pork in. A little bit of salt we'll add in there. You don't want to go crazy on the salt because you add fish sauce later and it's super salty. Then once that pork starts to get going, we're going to add the shrimp in. We just want to cook this real quick until it's just cooked through, and then we're going to take it off. So now we're going to make the filling for the summer rolls. We have the cooled down pork and shrimp, and then in this bowl we have a mixture of cabbage, green and red cabbage. I also have some pickled vegetables here that I've made ahead of time. This is a combination of pickled carrots, red bell pepper, and red onion. I'm gonna do chopped jalapeno, and then also some fresh herbs. So there we go, we got that in there. We're gonna add our pickled vegetables in. Our chopped jalapeno. And what I like to do is at this point, you just kind of mix it and see how the ratio is. Because you don't want it to be all meat, because that's part of the trick, is that it's got this beautiful meat flavor, but there's a lot of veggies in there too. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to get these herbs in there. Again, you just want this stuff to all be super vibrant. The herbs for this part, you don't want to cut them too small. You want them to be big, because then when people are eating it, they get all that flavor. I'm going to clean a little bit of this Thai basil. Thai basil just has that wonderful, like, super strong anise flavor. It's just gorgeous. Again, not chopped too small. You want to be able to really taste it in there. Last one we're going to do is some mint. Add that guy in there. And the final thing is we add a little lime juice. Two limes, and then the coup d'etat is the final addition of a little fish sauce directly into the filling, so it stays nice and fresh. That's the filling. Okay, so now we're going to make the sauce for the summer rolls. This is, again, as I mentioned, we're going to do the Vietnamese style with fish sauce. The base of it, nuoc mam as they call it, fish sauce. It's a delicious thing. It's probably the biggest umami bomb out there. Usually, so for the sauce, it's really super straightforward. It's a little bit of fish sauce, lime juice. So it takes a decent amount of lime juice. I'm going to do 1.5 in there. The key with this sauce is the balance between the lime juice, the sugar, and the fish sauce. So I'm going to it needs a little bit of sugar in there. It kind of cuts that fishiness of the fish sauce. And then we're going to put some chopped ginger in there. Add some chopped fresh Thai chilies. These guys are super hot. We're just going to very thinly slice them. And we're going to add those in. And there's a lot of variations on the sauce. People do different things. I like to put a little bit of herbs in there too, because it's nice and fresh. We're going to put a little bit of mint in there, a little tiny bit of cilantro. And also we got this beautiful Thai basil. We're gonna put a little bit of each one in there. And it just kind of brings up that super freshness. You wanna just dice that up good. Get it all in there. It's good if you let it sit for a few minutes. You don't want to let it sit for too long, but you want to let it sit and the ginger flavors all kind of come out and go together. Okay, now we're going to do the final step, which is making the spring rolls. I'm not going to lie, this is a little bit of a trick to get it right. What we do is we use this Bon Trang as in my opinion, the best brand. It's a rice paper wrapper. So what you do is you soak them in the water, just kind of soak them in the water a little bit until they start to soften up, and you put them down here and then you roll it. But it takes a little bit of getting used to as far as the timing of it goes, because if you let them sit too long in the water, they get too soft and they fall apart or they get waterlogged. If you don't let them sit in there long enough, they crack and they won't do it right. So I'll just kind of show you how I do it and then explain it. The other thing you want to do is you want to keep them in the bag and take only a couple at a time, because as soon as you expose them to oxygen, they start to dry out and then they crack and they also don't work. By the same means, like if you buy a little package of these, they're super cheap. They're like $2. If you don't use it all, just wrap it up really good in plastic wrap. You don't have to refrigerate it, it'll last a long time. But if there's any air gets in there, it's done. Take out one first to start, right? And all you do is you just put it in this water, right? You just want to get it really soaked in there. I usually turn it over on each side a couple times. And the tricky part is that it'll still seem pretty hard, right? But the water still keeps on penetrating it. So I drain off the excess. So what I usually do is I'll put about that much on there. The trick is if you take it too far out to the edge, it'll be difficult to close the wrapper. See how it's starting to look a little softer? This is when you see how it's getting more and more pliable. Still not, it's just about ready right now. And the thing is too, is that when it's a little bit drier like this, when you drain off the extra water, it's stickier. So what I always like to do is you kind of pull it around like this, and then once you get it going, you tuck the sides in. Tuck it in like that, you hold it. And then when it's just dry enough, especially if it's on a stainless steel surface, it sticks. So if you pull it back, it tightens it. And it's also self-sealing. See? So when it comes out like that, that is like a perfect spring roll. And again, now you got to move quickly on this one, because this one, you know, if you let it sit too long, it'll go and it'll start breaking. So usually I get it around maybe 1.5 times before I bring it around like that. And again, this is just one of those things that takes practice. And a lot of it is just all the little pieces of the technique, which is making sure it's not that it's in there long enough, that this area is dry, so it all holds. Boom. See, there we go. So there's our spring rolls. That's it. You can serve them just like this with the sauce. You can do a lettuce wrap with other herbs in it, however you like it. These are supposed to be really fresh. Like if they sit for too long in this form, they're not good either. The best way to eat them is literally what I'm doing right now. Like if you're at a dinner party or something, you make them, have the sauce there, and you pass them out to the people right when they're eating them. That's really good. Enjoy.